At MedStory, we take privacy seriously and follow all healthcare privacy laws. Some details may be changed to protect confidentiality. The views expressed are solely those of the individual speaking and do not represent the views of their employer.
I was sitting next to my mom during her cardiologist appointment. She nodded and smiled the whole time that the doctor spoke. But as soon as we got in the car, she turned and looked at me, and I knew that look. A quiet confusion. The feeling that you're supposed to understand, but just don't. And that moment changed me, because I realized that if I hadn't been there, what would have happened? It made me think about all of the women that I love, my goddaughter, my girlfriend, my sister, my mom. And it made me wonder, would they be treated equally if they walked into a hospital today? After talking with hundreds of doctors, here's what I've come to realize, is that the healthcare system was not built for women. Many procedures focused on women's health are reimbursed up to 30% less compared to the surgeries of their male counterparts. So when a clinic or a hospital, which is a business by the way, has to choose between what's right and what pays, it picks what's going to keep the doors open. And I get that. That is just business. So I decided to reach out to Dr. Shikha Jain. She's a triple board certified oncologist and the founder of the Women in Medicine Summit. And she put it like this.
If you remember, when the healthcare system was created, women were not physicians. Women were not in the healthcare space. And it wasn't until women entered the workforce that other women started being seen as not just sickly and frail, but actually being seen as human beings.
And this reality didn't change overnight.
It wasn't until the 90s that the NIH required women to be included in NIH-funded research. So a lot of the data that we have even today is based on only men. And why is that? For a long time, women were not advocating for women patients because women were not in leadership. And in some cases, they weren't even in healthcare altogether.
So the question isn't why is this happening, but more importantly, why hasn't it been fixed? Dr. Jing told me something that hit really hard.
I had always assumed that I was a problem. I thought, oh, this happened because I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't smart enough, or I was the issue. But then listening to all these women, I was like, holy cow, this is a systemic problem. I'm not the problem.
That realization led to her starting something bigger, a national summit, a movement, and a nonprofit. But her journey didn't begin with a conference. It actually started with a tweet.
When I was a very new Twitter user, I posted about a patient of mine who wasn't able to get their narcotic prescriptions. And I did not realize that there was a very large opioid convention happening in DC that same weekend. And so I tweeted and I just hashtagged opioid crisis. I had maybe like 75 followers at the time, and the tweet went viral, and well, viral for me at that point. And all of a sudden I had all these people reaching out. I had news people reaching out. I had people asking me to comment on things. So for me, it all started with engaging through social media and publishing in the op-ed space.
From 75 followers to CNN, from one story to a national platform, and none of it was about her ego.
If we don't use our voices and get out there, if we are not the ones telling people what is the evidence, what is the science, how we make decisions for our patients, for our communities, then there are going to be people out there who may not be the best actors, people out there who are doing it for personal gain or personal profitability, and they are going to be claiming to be experts, and there's going to be no one to counter their opinions.
So I asked her, why do you keep doing this? These appearances aren't even paid, yet take up a ton of your time. Here's what she told me.
The reason I do it is we see a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of people who are pretending to be experts or claiming to be experts and spreading information that is very inaccurate. I've always said as a physician, our job, our role is to not only take care of the communities that we see in the clinic, but also to educate and take care of communities, not just nationally, but now globally.
Then it really dawned on me that she's not doing this to become famous or to get extra credit. She's doing it because she wants the system to survive and give equitable care. Now, here's something that you might not know.
There's data that shows that women physicians actually have better outcomes when they take care of patients in the hospital. Women surgeons have lower mortality and morbidity when operating on patients of all genders. So it's not only important to keep women in medicine because it's the right thing to do, but also because it's really important for our patients. And elevating these women into leadership is incredibly important because studies have also shown that institutions led by women often have better Press Ganey scores, they get more awards, they have better retention. So at the end of the day, by focusing on closing the gender gap in healthcare, we're not only doing something that's important and right and good, we're also helping the health of our communities.
So here's what I asked myself, and what I hope you ask too.
Why are we not focusing more on keeping women in medicine? Because over 50% of medical students identify as women now. So why are we not seeing that translate into leadership? That's what we really should be focusing on.
And here's the cool thing, that what Dr. Jain is building through the Women in Medicine Summit, it's not actually just for women.
Men also attend, and there are actually many men who have come back year after year because they say it is one of the best leadership conferences they've been to. So we are not an us against them movement. We are really focusing on how can we create networks? How can we create opportunities?
I want to make something completely clear. This isn't just her fight, it's all of ours, man or woman. Because if we want the women that we love and care about so much to thrive, then we need to take another look at our system and see how it needs to be changed.
You are not the problem, and there's going to be a lot of people out there supporting you, so just lean into that.
As I sit here finishing off this episode, I can't help but think about the women in my life and how important they are to me. And the idea that if they were to go to a doctor and that doctor is being supported by a system that doesn't promote equitable care, that's not okay with me. So here's my call to action. Elevate those women that need to go into leadership. Speak up when you see something that's not right, and continue to push us forward. And always remember that you're not alone. We're in this together. My name's Spencer Locke, and thanks for listening to the MedStory podcast, where we share the stories of the greatest minds in science and medicine. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for listening to the MedStory podcast, where we share the stories of the greatest minds in science and medicine. I'm your host, Spencer Locke, with a special thanks to our executive producer, Shina May. Our music comes from Blue Dot Sessions and the Descript Audio Library. The MedStory podcast is made possible by MedStory Studios and listeners like you. So if you'd like to support us, please leave a review. It means more than you know. And if you have a story to share or want to produce a podcast of your own, reach out to us at info@medstorymedia.com.